We call this class Best Practices because, well, I think for the people who are in public companies, they probably know the basics, but what they'd really like to know are, well, what's the best way to do it? And since we've been around quite a bit, I think we've seen just about everything. And I can tell you what works and what doesn't work, and I'll tell you why. This is probably, there should be a big giant star on here. This is probably, well, one of the top 3 slides I'm going to show you today. What should be your guiding principles? As few key controls as possible. Controls are a good thing, right? Well, I'm not saying don't have controls. What I'm saying, though, is find the controls that are the most important ones, put them in your documentation and count them. It doesn't mean you stop doing the other stuff. You know, you don't tell them, don't do that anymore, it's not in SOX. But the ones that you're going to make officially as part of your project, you want to have as few of those as possible. The reason is, you know, as we just heard, it bogs you down, but you have to test every control forever, every year, forever. So if you've got 1,000 controls versus 300, you're testing 3 times as much as you need to. Learn from others. Everybody sitting in this room, you have an opportunity to learn from people that have done this. There's so many companies that are accelerated filers, a lot of friends in your network. You can contact them, say, hey, you know, I'll take you out to lunch. Let's talk about SOX. We're going to do SOX. Can you give me some? Utilize experts. As I mentioned, particularly in the planning phase, if you can get somebody to help get the project organized and scoped right and the timing figured out, that's probably the best use of experts. Leverage internal knowledge resources. So the people in your company, they know how these processes work. They know what the controls ought to be. A lot of times it's enough to say to them, well, this is what we're worried about. This is what the risk is. What prevents that from happening? And they can tell you, well, we do this. This would prevent that from happening. It's a lot better to go and interview people internally than it is to try and think yourself at maybe your level, your controllers and CFOs, consultants, external auditors, internal auditors, than for you to try to think of what they should be doing or might be doing. Just ask them and you'll get a better result. And then design the project for reuse. So if you're having to comply with SOX, or even if you're not, it doesn't go away. You don't do a project once and then stop. The documentation you're creating, the test plans you're creating, are going to be used year after year. And in fact, if you're a company with multiple locations, you'll probably start at headquarters. Let's start it here, and then we'll roll it out. Well, if you did documentation, flowcharts, whatever, wrong at headquarters, and then you multiply it, you clone it for 5 different other locations and send that out there, then you've got 6 problems instead of just the 1. So it's really important to design this stuff efficiently up front so that it can be reused.